Hi, my name is Bill Shane and I work for Fresh. In this video, I'm going to show you how you configure the AI options for XAnalysis. These options are available starting in XAnalysis version 13.5.02. So the first thing you need to do is to log on to the IBMI where you have XAnalysis installed. And in this case, I did a call space QCMD, so I would get the QCMD screen because that will make it easier for me to enter my commands. So there needs to be an update to one particular file in the IFS, which I'll talk about in a minute. And one of the fields that may need to update it is actually stored in another file. So as you can see here, I'm doing the work link, and the object is /xanalysis/common/token. So I'm just going to press enter. And now, as you can see, I have a file called token. Now what you would need to do is to put a 5 next to that and press enter so you can display the contents, and then take the field that's in there and copy it and just put it on the side just for a minute. We'll need it in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not actually going to show you the example I have here because this is one of our Fresh Solutions machines, and the keys are unique to your IBMI, so I don't want to share that information. So after I get that and I've saved it, I would hit F3 to get out, and then I would go in and run the next command, which is going to allow me to update the file in the IFS that I need to update. So as you can see here, I did a work link, and it's /xanalysis/v13502, v followed by the version number, /API server/application ***, and I'm going to press enter. And now, as you can see, there's an application.yml. That is the file you will actually be updating. I have copied it to application.ex, for example, and I've actually removed the keys in there because, again, those are our particular keys and you'd have to use your own information. So you would go in and do a 2 in the application.yml. So I'll do a 2 on the application.ex in my example, and then I will press enter. So here you see what the application.yml, in your case, file contains. Now the first section here is at the top here where it says XA. So all this would have to be in here. The first section we're going to look at is the XA section here. You may have the token off key entry there. The spacing here is very important. So as you can see, the data source is indented 2 from the line above it. The Hikari is dented 2, and so on. It's always an indented 2. The first thing that you have to enter is the token auth key, and where you have bracket token, you would paste in the value that you copied from the token file previously. This entry is there so that you will be able to actually submit the initialize and use the option to initialize to use the AI. Now if you don't have an AI key yet, what you would do is after you make your changes, hit F3. It says you want to save it, hit F3 again to save it. Then you would have to stop and start the API server so that it would pick up the changes. Please note that when you start the API server, you have to use a user profile that has all object authority and has a password. So if you were using the QPGMR user profile, by default that has neither of those options, and that will not work to initialize a repository for the AI. Once you have done this update and stopped and restarted the API server, you could then submit it and initialize so that you would be able to set up a repository to use the AI. The repository must be at XAnalysis version 13.5.02. Now the other entry, once you have an AI key, you would have to put in is, as you can see down here, you have a spring. Now you would have to put this information in. In the user manual, it will talk about whether you have an Anthropic or an OpenAI key, and so the lines that you put in here may be slightly different. We're using an Anthropic key. That's what we recommend to use. It seems to work the best. And where you see the API key value, again where the bracket starts, you would put in your API key. Once you've made the necessary changes and put in your API key, you would then hit F3 to save it, F3 again to exit, and again you have to stop and start at the API server for the 13.5.02 version. Once you've done the first update with the token, you could then go in and use the access from a web page. The right-hand side of the screen would work, where you could actually go and select a repository and look at the different functions. For example, you could look at all of the programs. The AI section will not work until you actually enter your API key and then again save it, shut down, and restart your API server. At that point, the API's key would work, and you could type in questions in the chat box on the left-hand side and have the AI access your X Analysis repository.